Thank you all for being here with us. Today we have a very important webinar about public relations, media, and social media, great tools for us in BPW. Our speakers, Bettina Giordani, she is an expert in ICT, Internet Communication and Technology, a specialist and immediate past president of BPW FIDAPA Rome Club, and past communication officer of BPW Italy FIDAPA Federation. Lisa Fong, she is a digital strategic, and she is the current president of BPW Hong Kong, a young BPW member and past executive secretary of the BPW Hong Kong Club. Thank you very much for the speakers, and thank you very much for all of you to being here with us today. The floor is yours.
Isn't it great that we can meet even if we are not in the same place? I'm now sitting in Rome in my home, and it's winter, and I know Lisa Fong will reach us later, and she's sitting in Bangkok. No, in Hong Kong. So technology helps. And if we have to be in a networking environment, I think it's even better to think globally and act locally. So that's a wonderful opportunity. Thank you all for having us here today. So I was asked to give you a little bit of insight of what we do to promote our club in Italy, in Rome especially. I'm the past president in charge for this biennium. In Italy, we have 2 years of responsibilities. So I just started my first year as past president, but I have a communication background, and I was in charge for the communication in Italy over the presidency of Pia Petrucci 4 years ago. So I just take the opportunity to share a little bit of thoughts about how we manage the importance of being part of a social media strategy, even if we are a non-profit organization with a cultural objective. So how can we do this? I will use my presentation. It will not be, the idea is not to be 100% accurate in a communication strategy, but just to share some thoughts with you all. So this is my presentation. So a digital culture in a non-profit association. Sometimes we just wonder, can we have a digital strategy if you have a non-profit association, and especially if we aim to do everything in a most professional way as possible, because that's what we are, and make sure that we reach out to everybody to share what we are doing. So a little bit of what I'm going to discuss. I will show you a little bit about our history, how we use technology, and some events that we are going to, some thoughts that we are going to share. So the Rome Club was founded in 1929, on the 8th of January, just celebrated our 90th anniversary. And with the Milan and Naples office clubs, we are the founding club. So we never really stopped, even during the war, to fight for rights in Italy, for women's rights, from the right to vote to recently reach the opportunity to be recognized for the female soccer players to be professional, which means that in sports, women are not professional in Italy, which means you don't get your pension, your contribution, and you're basically non-professional. So even if we aim for being equal, there is a lot to do still in a democratic country like we aim to be. So in Italy, because I think everywhere, I think pre-digital, we could really summarize that the content, with the documents that we were able to produce at that time, were really some sort of milestones of what we wanted to achieve, setting the rules, giving information, and then make sure everybody was clear of what we want to achieve and how. In a post-digital environment, on the other side, content are quite light. Many times they are just copy and paste, really not focused too much on the content, on the quality of what we produce. But on the other side, it's very fast and can be reached by a variety of people with a different way of forms. So maybe nothing is bad in the first period, which was precluded to the majority of people. But this time everybody can reach the information, but we should maybe think a little bit more about what we share. So in general, we could say that 88% of the people worldwide say they cannot do without digital anymore. But how can we make sure that we reach them and that they can see us and they choose, and that everybody of us choose to spend time with you and not with someone else, which shares a lot of information either. So in our club, we use technology mainly in a very different format. So in order to, when you have more than 100 club members in our club, and in an average of age of 60, which means approximately 20 under 35, we talk to everybody when we use technology and make sure that technology is the way when you choose not to use paper anymore. So in general, I would say that we use WhatsApp for instant and informal communication. Our formal approach is an email. So we have formal email forms when we have to communicate about important things in the club. And then we have our website, our Facebook page, and we have also Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I will focus more on website, WhatsApp, and Facebook because of the quantity and the majority of users. Even though I personally would recommend as business professional women in platform in a much more important way than today, especially if we want to leverage our international network and make sure that our professionalities are part of the shared knowledge and shared tools that we can we use. Internally, we use mainly, as I said, WhatsApp and emails. Externally, we use mainly Facebook and an Instagram platform. We faced very at the beginning, especially, a very important topic, which I don't know if it's just because of our cultural background in Italy. I don't have really a clear understanding. But we started our website and our page, especially to increase our internal federation communication need, which is a completely different objective than influencing others about our topics. So they might be similar, but when you talk to someone who is part of the game, you want them to know the information because you want them to act like they would, and to make sure they are part of the game. If you talk to someone external, you want to influence them. You want maybe make sure that they understand what we want to achieve and to feel part of the game in a second moment or to join us. So it's a quite difficult approach if you know some basic rules about communication. And basic rules are, for instance, understand who you are talking to. And these two people are different. So this is, and it was still a very important topic to address. The other part was the intergenerational dialogue. We have a digital gap, which is a quite important issue. We have young generations, which are far beyond already Facebook, while other club members, for instance, already a Facebook profile, is able to make sure that we talk to both sides of the story, especially if we make some analysis on your club members and the environment you are talking to. So I underlined again the importance to understand who we are talking to and how. Sometimes we make confusion between the need the need for a specific content and the platform that you use to share this content. We should never make the mistake to talk about the platform while we should in reality talk about the content. The content can be adapted to different platforms, but in order to understand this, we need to make sure some example. For instance, if I want to make awareness about violence on women, we could decide what is the content we want to share. So do we want to make sure we have a meeting? We want to make sure we want to have a document in which we share report data about the statistics. Do we want to, in order to obtain what? This is the content. This is the part where we should discuss about what as a federation for business and professional women do we want to share? And then to who? Are we talking to young girls? Are we talking to men? Are we talking to students? Or are we talking to agricultural engaged people? I mean, the difference about the way these people react to information are completely different. The other thing is then to decide, and in this case, I think our mistake is to think that because I don't understand about technology, I'm not belonging to the communication team. My opinion is I could be part of a communication strategy in our club, even though I understand nothing about technology. But sometimes we think that because someone is able to use Facebook is also responsible to decide what content should be published. These kind of things are making a little bit of confusion, and especially a distance between maybe older club members or very professional club members with little time to share with us. We have, for instance, a physician. She is the responsible for a lab. I would to have her in our communication team in order to make sure we can, for instance, but she would never join because she has no time, because she thinks that this would make her spend a lot of time on platforms, while this is not the case. Okay, so some platforms, as I said, the website, the platform, the website, what we use it for mainly is who we are, what do we do, what would you like to reach, why should you join and support us. The Facebook page, where we tried to make it a little bit different from a look and feel, is that the main objective is to increase visibility, engage participation, increase our network, inform, and a very important point for me is to provide a virtual speaking corner. The more we grow and the more we want to listen to where we are compared to the objective we want to reach, I think it is important to listen. And in virtual environments, like in technology, we think that this part is completely lost, while in reality, with the good management of the virtual speaking corner idea would be very possible. Even though, as in every communication, if there is no contrary, I don't know if I use the correct word in English, but when you don't have the counterpart really understanding the context, you risk that this is a fight about words, while in reality we are fighting to understand how can we say something interesting and make sure that this objective is reached. So it's more difficult than in a normal dialogue. But as I said, the native digitals, they understand this much easier than older people, which are not older in terms of age, but in terms of understanding the use of a digital platform. WhatsApp is, as I said, an informal information system, virtual speaking corner, and it has a very important role, which is to enforce the club members' sense of participation and multi-opinion sharing, which is, as I said, similar to Facebook. Now, I don't know if you experienced this during the Christmas period or the New Wave, New Year celebrations. We were overloaded by WhatsApp and pictures, and everybody was sharing everything, with the result that for sure our phone is overloaded by archiving requirements, with the happiness of Apple and Samsung. But on the other side, nobody was reading anymore. And the result is that you lose the importance of what you wanted to share. There are always pro and contra with every platform. As I said, my preferred one from a professional standpoint is LinkedIn, but many times you have to make choices based on the numbers of people that you know are on that platform. The visibility of the website, the credibility, the long-lasting information, so those information that we want to be a solid part of our communication strategy should be on a website. The contra is that you need some costs to be planned, even though if not money, but cost, I mean, I underline this also, is also the time that you require from other club members or from resources to put in place. And there is some knowledge need to understand how it is different and to work on such a platform or another platform. There are some technology issues behind. Facebook, for sure, visibility, easy to use, free, fast. Everybody thinks to be great in using Facebook just because they have a profile. The other contra is that the credibility exposure. We have a lot of club members which are very, very visible with their personal profiles, with the result that if you share, for instance, on your Facebook page, yourself naked on the beach, and then you are the president of a club in which we aim to have a sort of consistency, image consistency. Those two pictures are in conflict. None of them is bad. What I want to say is that the credibility of the whole consistency picture that you want to give might be under risk. And this is just an example. For instance, in Italy, we like to celebrate with cakes. Every party has a cake. So sometimes when we meet for Christmas party or for every party, we have this big cake, which is the most photographed picture. So everybody posts the fact that they have been at the cake. So the picture that shows is with the cake. So the result is that we are a cake group. We like to drink coffee and eat cake, which is not the majority of the time we spend in our club. But when you share those kind of information all the time, the image that comes out is this. So we have to watch out and to spend more carefully, to watch out more carefully about the image you give. WhatsApp, as I said, it's easy, fast, the number of users are okay. Many don't know how to use some very basic techniques. For instance, you can reply in private. This kind of a feature is it's available on every platform in WhatsApp. Doesn't matter what telephone you use, but nobody uses it. So if I receive in a group I receive a message, I can, and I read it in the group, I can reply privately and say thank you for the message instead of replying to everybody, with the result that the main information get lost. So this is, for instance, some techniques in which we need to make sure that the people who are part of the group understand the technology in order to take the most out of it. I think one of the major things we don't do, and we should all do in order to make sure that we feel all part of the game, is to have a communication calendar. We should all remember why we are doing or we do these efforts and how we use the rest. So here I just listed very basic things to remember every time we want to decide, we have to communicate something, and we decide when, why, and to who. Personal use, what is in for me, for the community use, and what is in for the team, and globally, what we want to reach. This part is important because you need to find a way to reduce the digital gap in your team, and the people are part of the game, and to make sure they feel they can do it, especially when we have a change of term. How can we replace a group which was very good, for instance, in some sort of technology, with another group? So the thing is, maybe we should think why we are doing that. And we do this also for our professional growth. So offering, for instance, training on personal branding, digital automation, cloud computing, social media would increase the members' professionality. On the other side, you grow their capability of being part of the communication team. So it's a trick to make sure that you give something to obtain something, and we grow all together. So I think I was, I just tried to make sure that you get some very basic information about what we are doing by to say hello, information about where you can find me if you want to get in touch with me. And yes, I would suggest that maybe we keep some time for the questions at the end of the presentation. And if it's fine, I would give it to Lisa now for her view about what she's doing in Hong Kong. Thank you for listening.
Hi, thank you so much, Bettina. I think that's great. And I think for our side, for BPW Hong Kong, I'll be going through a few slides on how we conduct it. It'll be quite in line and consistent with what Bettina has just mentioned. So, all right, so for BPW Hong Kong, we are quite a young club, both in terms of our founding year and also the age of our members. So the current club is founded in 2015, but the original club is actually founded 40 plus years ago, so in 1979. So we do have a long history being in Hong Kong. Now, with the current demographic of members that we have quite a lot of young members. So we are modeling youth leadership. So every aspect of what we do is focus a lot on our young members, giving them the platform to share their voice, but also professional development. And because of this, our background, our demographic, and the ways that perhaps the younger generation use social media or engage with certain platforms, that determines how we engage with our members, but also our stakeholders here in Hong Kong. So with our approach, we have 4 key areas. So I can go through one by one and a few of the questions that we ask ourselves and how we strategize it. So the first one is to know your story and differentiation. For BPW Hong Kong, as I was mentioning, we model youth leadership. So that's how we're different from all the other clubs, similar clubs in Hong Kong area, which perhaps feature more seasoned experts and senior women in businesses and professional landscape. So for us, we are a community of women from all backgrounds and all ages, mostly the younger women. And for club and federation, like, how is it unique? I think it's a question that we have to ask ourselves as well as we come out and do public relation and communication. And also, what's the benefit for new members or potential member that join you? And how is their takeaway different if they join another organization, for example? I think this is an internal journey that each club and federation needs to ask themselves on, because that is the foundation, the basis of how you communicate with your audience. Now, the second point is to understand your audience and where they're from. So we need to define the demographics. So for BPW Hong Kong, our age range is between 18 all the way to, as old as we can get. But typically our focus has been on 18 to around 35 or 40. So that's our age range, and we want to focus on those audiences for membership. With this demographic, we need to ask, what is their passion point? What drives them? Why would they want to join BPW? Everyone have different, passion factors. You're very motivated by very different things, whether it's, information, or you want to get something out of it, or you want to, hear an inspirational speaker. I think with all of that, you sort of need to understand where they're coming from and what angles in order to determine that. Now, also with, stakeholders and NGO, for us, a lot of the stakeholder and NGO that we work with are perhaps more developed. They have longer history in Hong Kong. So as I'll go through later, we have different ways to engage with them than our younger members. Third point is to know the communication touch point. What this means is the platform that our audience wanted to engage. So if we wanted to do a membership drive, for example, and we're targeting between 18 to 40, what platform do they go on? Is it Facebook? Is it Twitter? Twitter is not really a big thing out here, but we do have a platform on it. Or is it LinkedIn, which perhaps is more focused on professional and business women? Or is it newspaper? Are we trying to target people that are reading certain publication, for example? So that's something we need to think about as well as we go through the planning and thinking process. And the fourth one is to then develop a strategy and implement it. And I think what Bettina said before about having a content calendar and the timeline of everything, when it goes out, who it goes out, and the fact that each of the content, can be cut and edit in a way that fits certain platform, that's key for us as well. Most of the time, if you follow our LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter, or even our internal, like our private WhatsApp group, we have the same content across all of them, but it's designed and it's written in a different way because we know we have different audiences on each platform. Now, onto our channels. So we have a wide range of communication tools and channels that we use for members and stakeholders. I'll go through each of them and how we use them, and then I'll talk about external engagement. So first one is the website. So I work in comms and public relations as well. And the website, we always see it as this big beast. It doesn't do much, it just sits there. But actually it's quite an important asset for any federation to have. It's the backbone, you can say, for your organization. Because people who are interested in you, who know of your name, would search you on Google would search you on other search engine, the website is typically the platform that comes up first in search engine. That's because, you know, it's an official like hyperlink, and if you look at the SOE, or we call search engine optimization, SEO, sorry, it is more authorized than a lot of the social media platform. So this is the main source for all communication and all content and information on us. We use email as the official communication tool. So everything to our member, our stakeholders, engagement with our partners, perhaps like negotiating, you know, venue rental or sponsorship, or even our like membership application, we all go through the email. That's one for recording, but two, because, you know, it has your email address. It's said, you know, info.bpwhk, and it's formal. Newsletter. So this is a quarterly update. We send it to all our stakeholders and our members as well, to keep them, you know, up to date on our activities, any news that we have. And Dr. Anne, actually, she's the founder of the BPW Hong Kong club since 2015. And, you know, we'll have like a special column on the international activity that Dr. Anne still continues to do on behalf of BPW Hong Kong. WhatsApp is the main platform actually for BPW Hong Kong. So we have a private chat group that we use for communication. And a feedback that we have is that a lot of our committee share a lot of daily news on gender equality, women empowerment, from the sources that they're reading daily. And a lot of the members find this quite helpful. So for them, that is their key takeaway from joining our association. We also use it to coordinate a lot of the events that we have. So put it in perspective, we actually have we have a smaller club as compared to Itani's club, but also other clubs around the world. But we are quite intimate, and I think the WhatsApp platform actually helps a lot in terms of generating discussion on certain topics. Or, you know, we talk about, I think a few months back, we talked about breastfeeding when it was breastfeeding, you know, breast awareness month, for example. So we have discussion, and it's quite robust. Now, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, I put it into the same category. Yes, we approached it quite differently in terms of the content that we put on there, but it is a platform that is publicly available, and we have new members that join us because they found our Facebook event or because they were following a certain hashtag on Twitter. So these are public ways for people to come to us and find us as well. Now, for external engagement, we are a fast-growing club, and we're like recruiting. We're quite passionate and motivated to gather new members, but to make sure that any member that join us are, one, they're quite interested in what we do, but also that what we provide to them as a club is relevant to them on a day-to-day. So in terms of external engagement, one thing that we do is a lot of sharing. So we have like casual lunches that we would share our personal experience, or for example, it could be formal one. Like a few of us from the committee went to the East Asian Sub-Regional Conference in Tokyo recently. So we'll be doing informal sharing from that event. And we can also have, you know, people interested in the speakers that we have, and perhaps like share with friends saying like, oh, you know, I joined a BPW, I have this speaker, and they were quite inspirational. So word of mouth and sharing can take us a long way, and it actually brings in the member that would, you know, we can achieve like member stickiness a lot more. So networking, our committee do a lot of that. So through our own work and travel, we represent BPW Hong Kong. So we have our two co-chair of twinning, for example. They actually travel a lot on their job. And it was quite strategic for us to leverage their own travel as a way to connect with BPW sister clubs around Asia. So we'd be looking to do more of that. This also includes us just attending key industry events. So the photo at the bottom, for example, is the government house hosting the International Women's Day last year. So we attended and we networked at the event. Public speaking. Some of the Exco, occasionally we are invited to speak at industry events as well, basically on thought leadership topics. So we'll be engaging in those platforms and to let people know who BPW Hong Kong are and also what we do in Hong Kong. Now, media engagement, this one I put here as appropriate because as I was saying, I think our club and community is quite intimate and we don't necessarily want 100 people to join all at once. We want people who are passionate. We want people that actually make a difference to the club, but also wanted to be here. So we would engage specifically. I think we have a radio program last year that we were trying to get into to promote a little on a club, but also just to share our thoughts and insight on sort of women empowerment and gender equality. So that's the end of my presentation. So it's a quick sort of summary in terms of what we do. I mean, Bethany, do you have any questions or any feedback? I mean, we should open up for discussion as well.
Lisa, I'm impressed, and I think this is really a very, very important. I took some notes actually, because for instance, one of the things that we were struggling in is to feel everybody part of the game. So for instance, you explained the fact that while you turn into positive something which is negative. So sometimes the club members are not able to attend because they travel a lot because of their business. And you turn it into a role. So you are not part of the daily activities maybe, but you can give us your visibility or your capability to leverage our contents by traveling a lot and to spreading the word. So I think this is quite important and I would take it away. And the other part is that we are not very good in producing the newsletter. We are not very good in putting together information. In Italy, for instance, in Rome, we have 2 clubs. We have, in all Italy, we have 300. So we tend to probably, I don't know if it's correct or not, but we tend to share this responsibility or to think that this responsibility is for someone else who has a bigger picture. You have a special view of your federation because in Hong Kong, you make the difference from your perspective and your BPW role. I think in this we have some, let's say, excuses not to do things. On the other side, also difficulties to find the right way and to bring that discussion on the next level to make sure that the local contents can be as a part of a bigger picture in a more productive way. Also because that rises our credibility. I'm very happy that we use similar things, yes. And that we can in other cases have a different view. I think this is an enrichment.
Absolutely.
For both.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that I think I have to prepare myself for, I think as the club grow, into the hundreds, for example, I think we will definitely come across the same challenges that your club has. And I think it's always good to share best practices into how to manage all of the communication. Because I think globally, like the BPW International, we have a lot of clubs and federations. So it is key and something that we need to look at in terms of, how we can be doing better so that one, down to the member level, or even, you know, affiliates that we have, feel like they're part of the whole group and the bigger conversation. So I think we are modeling small at the moment because we are a new club, so we can try a lot of different strategy and activities. But, you know, even with my predecessor, Cindy Leung, she tried a lot of different methods as well. Like we were thinking, you know, we have the newsletter, but the format has changed since the past presidents. Like we have different format, we have different ways to engage, we have different contents that we put. So I think one thing to always remember is sometimes it's a lot of trial and error in order to get to where it should be. And there's no right answer, as you said right from the beginning. Oh. Yeah, it depends on the situation. It depends on the club and the federation as well.
And I have the idea that sometimes it's better that we do something instead that we look just for the perfect solution.
Agree.
For instance, the use of Zoom. We tried already many times, and every time I use it, I feel that this is the platform that we should all pay the fee to have a sort of a club membership support tool, because Rome is large as a country, and club members are sitting one here and one in the other side of the town, and it's 100 kilometers far. So even though it looks like it's very important when you have international environments, but in reality it can be also much easier to organize a virtual coffee with club members, even if you sit in the same room. So for instance, trying these platforms with the help and support like Anne is providing us is an enormous step forward. I'm impressed all the time, really a lot. And I'm a good user of Skype, but this is 100 times better.
Absolutely.
So I think, Lisa, next time I hope we are going to meet in face.
Yes.
We know we have a lot of good opportunities in these coming months. We have the Congress, we have April in Malta, we have a lot of opportunities to meet other club members, take the advantage to meet each other in person.
Yes,
and I think
absolutely.
that we leave it to the next speaker. Have a good time, Lisa.
Thank you, you too.
We want to thank both Bettina and Lisa for contributing their expertise to us in this webinar on the topic of public relations media, which is more classic, and social media, which is, of course, the way of the future and the present. We especially appreciate the diversity of thought. So they both had some overlap and some similar ideas. They were each learning from each other. And interestingly, they're representing a couple of different generations, and also a newer club and a more established club, a larger club and a smaller club, a club in Europe and a club in Asia. And so the diversity of their experiences also is what helps to make this webinar rich. We hope you've all enjoyed that, and we look forward to being with you in future webinars. Thanks very much for joining us.